Provincial heads, valuable heads of the women branches, esteemed mayors, and valuable heads of the provincial heads, dear friends at cause, I'd like to greet you all with the most heartfelt sentiments, love and affection. Last week, we have celebrated the 20th year anniversary of the foundation of our political party. Due to the natural disasters taking place in Turkey, unfortunately we couldn't have the celebration ceremony as we desired. On this occasion, I'd like to extend my gratification and thanks to anyone who contributed to our political party from its foundation. I'd like to thank my brothers and sisters for all their endeavors, from the ballot boxes to the observation committees. Once again, AK Party, within the last 20 years, with all the masterpieces it has realized, with all the projects it made come to fruition, Justice and Development Party is a party which stamped its mark on the history of the Republic. With all the services 3 times or 5 times more than throughout all the history, we made Turkey go into a different era. From the tutelage supporters to the coup plotters to the economic hitmans, we fought against everyone who puts their eyes on our future, and we made sure that the sovereign will prevail. Today, Turkey is a country which can really use its sovereignty rights, and it is one of the few of them. And as the political order is cracking down these days, we are making use of all the opportunities in front of us. Without a doubt, behind this strength and self-confidence lies the masterpieces and the services that we have realized for the last 19 years, and also this strong infrastructure increased our self-confidence. During the pandemic, altogether we have realized the importance and the benefits of this strong infrastructure. As the saying goes, the biggest weakness of the human mind is its forgetfulness. From time to time, unfortunately, we might even forget our success stories, or we have difficult times remembering them. And as this is the case, certain people can dare to ask us, what did you do within the last 19 years? And sometimes certain people rise up and twist the reality, claiming that you made Turkey collapse. Against such kind of accusations and the claims, the most beautiful answer that we can give to those claims is to explain what we have done within the last 19 years. So, right now, I would like to remind you what we have done for the last 19 years, and it will be just the summary of a summary. I'd like to remind this to the Turkish citizens. The economic growth of the Turkey increased from 1.5% to 5.1%. The number of the investments in Turkey increased from 70 billion Turkish liras to 1.4 trillion Turkish liras. And the export of the Turkey increased from $36 billion to $170 billion last year. Hopefully, this year we will exceed $200 billion. For many years, the current account deficit has been the biggest problem of the national economy, and in 2019 we didn't have the current account deficit but the surplus. Hopefully, in the near future we will see a similar picture. The central bank reserves as of now is at the level of $109 billion. With the transactions completed, this figure will exceed $115 billion in the upcoming days. As we had the population of 66 million, the national income was $238 billion, and we have increased that number to the level of $960 billion. In the recent times, due to the fluctuations in the foreign exchange and due to the natural disaster, our national income slightly dropped down, and hopefully in the near time we will exceed $1 trillion of a national income level. In terms of calculating our national income according to the purchasing power parity, we increased the rank of Turkey from 17 to 11, thereby closing to our targets. In the last 19 years, Turkey has found employment to 9 million of its citizens, so in another saying, Turkey increased its employment rate by 9 million people. Due to the increase in terms of youth and women employment and demand, we are also aware of the fact that we are in need of new business opportunities. Hopefully, with the strengthening in the field of industry and service sector, we will get closer to a level where we can find a job to any one of our citizens who are demanding it. Among the developing and developed countries, Turkey has the lowest rate of public debt. As a result, as the state and as the nation, our future is not under mortgage. That's why we are increasing our targets and making them much more ambitious, and we are broadening our vision. And our political power is also strengthened with our military power, and our economic power is also strengthened with our stronger presence in the region, and that's how we are proceeding to our cause. Thanks to all those developments, we are overcoming all the natural disasters in the swiftest fashion, and we are not losing from those disasters just like any other actor in the international community. After the macroeconomic figures, I also would like to speak about the services that we have provided to our nation. In the field of education, our budget for 2020 was 10.3 billion Turkish liras, and this figure increased to 2012 billion Turkish liras this year. And the number of classrooms increased from 143,000 to over 601,000. And up until now, 693,000 of our teachers have been assigned to their working places. And we have also adapted the system of 4 plus 4 plus 4, so the obligatory education increased to 12 years. Thanks to our Mare Foundation, 349 schools, 1 higher education institute with 13 education center and 40 dormitories, the education services are also carried out in abroad. As we came to office, the number of our universities were 67, and this figure increased to 207, and the number of the academic personnel has increased from 70,000 to 181,000, and the number of our university students increased from 1.5 million to 8 million. The bed capacities in our hospitals increased from 164,000 to 255,000. We have commissioned 17 city hospitals with the bed capacity of 22,604, thereby increasing the service quality in the field of healthcare services. As of now, 13 of our city hospitals are under construction, and when they are being completed, the bed capacity of our city hospitals will be increased to the level of 41,333. In terms of the youth and sports services, the number of our sport centers increased from 1,575 to 3,915. The bed capacity in the Higher Education Institute increased from 182,000 to 717,000. The student loans were 45 Turkish liras, and we increased that number to 650 Turkish liras for the BA students. And we increased that number from 90 Turkish liras to 1,300 Turkish liras for the MA students, and this figure has been increased to the level of 1,950 Turkish liras for the PhD students. In terms of the family and social services, within the last 19 years, we have extended social support with the amount of 431 billion Turkish liras. All around the Turkey, 360 social service centers have been opened for service, which are the doors for reaching out to social services. We have also increased the number of the employment for disadvantaged people to the level of 60,000. The minimum wage was 1,400 Turkish liras, and right now the minimum wage reached to 2,825 Turkish liras. The number of the insured workers were 12 million, which increased to the level beyond 24 million. The number of our judges and prosecutors have increased from 9,343 to 21,904. The number of our courts increased by 38%. Thereby, we have strengthened the jurisprudence in Turkey. In order for the justice services to be provided at the highest quality, we have constructed 275 service buildings. And we have also changed the regulation regarding to the local administrations at the auspices of the Ministry of Interior Affairs. We didn't only strengthen our local administrations, but at the same time, we actually made our local governments much more democratic and transparent and accountable. And as a result, in order to manage the communication between our citizens and our muhtars, we have established the muhtar information system. In order to fight against the illegal migration, we have constructed 25 repatriation centers with the capacity of 16,000 people. From the onset of the Euphrates Shield operation up until now, we have cleansed many regions from the terrorist organizations, and the number of the Syrians who on a voluntarily basis turned back to their country exceeded 455,000. The Euphrates Shield with the claw operation and the Peace Shield operations, we actually eradicate the threat of terror in our borders. And in the field of transportation, the divided line capacity increased from 6,100 to over 28,000 kilometers, and the highway length increased from 1,400 to over 3,512 kilometers. And the road tunnel length increased from 50 kilometers to 617 kilometers. The bridge and the viaduct duct length increased from 317 kilometers to over 710 kilometers. Mississippi Bridge, Eurasian Tunnel, Osman Gazi Tunnel, Ilgaz 15th of July Independence Tunnel, Erkenek, Can Kurtaran, Sabuncubeli tunnels were among the masterpieces that we have provided for our nation, together with Marmaray and Eurasia Tunnel. İstanbul-Bursa-İzmir Highway, Northern Marmara Highway, Menemen-Ali Ağa Çandarlı Highway, Ankara-Niğde highways were among the highway investments that we have done, thereby increasing the traveling standards in our highway. Çanakkale-Bosphorus Highway and Savaştepe Highway, when it is being completed, the Marmara region will be surrounded with the motorways and the highways. All those investments will be among the masterpieces that we will be entrusting to future generations, and they will be just like the stems of our governments. In terms of the railways, we have constructed the fast-speed train railways with the length of 1,313 kilometers. And we have almost renewed all of our railway roads, which has the length of more than 15,000 kilometers. Ankara Railway Logistics Center, Kars, Bakü, Tbilisi railroads, Ankara Etimesgut rail centers have been constructed. The number of the airports when we came to power was 26, and we have added 30 of them, thereby increasing the number of our airports to the level of 56. And we have also opened the Istanbul airport with the capacity of 90 million people and passengers per day. And the yacht tying capacity increased to 18,000. In terms of the ICT, in 2012, the number of the broadband subscribers were 3,000 only, and right now the e-state application users reach to 50 million. And we have also increased the population who benefited from wastewater treatment facilities. This increased from 35% to the 90%. And we have also realized the National Garden project in 369 different places. 76 of them have been completed, and thanks to the TOKİ agency, we have constructed more than 1 million additional households, and 300,000 of them have been renewed. The agricultural GDP exceeded 133 billion Turkish liras last year. In the last 19 years, we have given 165 billion Turkish liras of support to our farmers. The number of our forestry areas increased from 20.9 million hectares to the level of 22.9 million hectares. The number of our diplomatic corps increased from 163 to over 252. That's how we made Turkey the fifth biggest country with the highest number of diplomatic corps and diplomatic centers. In the past, the number of the defense industry projects were only 62, but today this number exceeded 750. The budget for our defense industries increased from $5.5 billion to $75 billion. Thanks to God, Turkey is one of the few defense industry producer and exporting countries, unmanned aerial vehicles being in the first place. The number of industrialized organized zone increased from 192 to 325. We have constructed 79 technoparks. We have made a Turkish Space Agency operational, and we have defined our space politics. And the local car production goes on as it is planned, and hopefully in 2023 we will see our Turkish brand car on our streets and our roads. In the field of energy, the total installed capacity increased from 31,000 megawatts to over 98,000 megawatts. TANAP, which is one of the greatest projects in the region, has been completed together with the Turkish Stream. The first floating LNG storage and gasification unit has been put to service in Izmir, and the second one has been commissioned in Hatay. In the Black Sea area, Fatih drilling ship drilled the Tuna well, and more than 500 billion cubic meters of natural gas reserve has been explored. In the field of culture and tourism, the number of our assets in the list of cultural heritage increased from 9 to 19. With our General Directorate of our foundations, the number of our masterpieces which has been restored has been increased from 46 to 5,548. TİKA, Yunus Emre Institute, and General Directorate of Turkish citizens living abroad were among the institutions who sided with the ones who are left alone all around the world. So, as you can see, it doesn't matter how much we can summarize, all of the masterpieces and the services that we have provided for this nation cannot be explained within hours. Hopefully, in the upcoming days, more masterpieces and services will be put to the benefit and service of our nation. On this occasion, yesterday, we have undersigned the collective agreement for our public workers. May it be auspicious for our nation and also our officers and public workers. I would like to congratulate our minister, and I also would like to congratulate our syndicate and also our workers and civil servants, and on average the increase in the civil servants' salary has been realized by 31.2%. So the minimum wage of a civil servant increased from 4,348 Turkish liras to over 5,700 Turkish liras. To the preschool and primary school teachers, additional 2 hours of remuneration is being provided, and also the compensation payments of the fire extinguishers have been improved, and all those aspects have been included in this collective agreement. And in order not to suffer from the inflation, we actually have done what we should for our civil servants. Once again, may this collective agreement be auspicious. Dear brothers and sisters, for more than 1,000 years, our homeland had to endure many challenges, and in order to protect these lands as our homeland, we have done many sacrifices, and we are living in such kind of a geography. As you know, the month of August is the month of triumphs and victories in the Turkish history. We have opened the doors of Anatolia to the Turkish nation with Malazgirt war, and then we have closed these doors to the enemies after the independence war, and those wars have been fought in the months of August, as you know. And this beautiful homeland is unique in itself, with its west, with its east, with its north, and with its south. But at the same time, this homeland is situated in a very challenging geography, which is not rid of problems. And you see what is going on in our geography in the recent times. The southern part of Turkey is fighting and burning with the unprecedented wildfires. And the northern part of Turkey, we are also struggling against the flood disasters. Due to the drought in many provinces in Anatolia, we lost many of our harvest. Those disasters are not unique to Turkey, and we are not ruling out the possibility of sabotages and arsoning of many terrorist organizations, including but not limited to PKK terrorist organization. It is still a reality that we are face to face with a natural disaster due to the climate change. According to our colleagues from the field, those wildfires have been unprecedented, but we are determined that we will erase the traces of those wildfires. With the permission of God, this nation is strong and this state is strong, and we will overcome those challenges in the region. We will reconstruct the houses burned down. We will see that our forests are burning from their ashes. We will compensate the losses of our farmers and household owners, Spartan, Rize, and in the floods of Kastamonu, in order to compensate the losses incurred and in order to revive the infrastructure which have been damaged. We are working day and night. In the face of all those disasters, the struggling capacity of our state cannot be ignored and cannot be denied. During this process, once again, I'd like to thank all my ministers who took part, and I would like to congratulate them. From the onset of those disasters, I immediately ordered them to go to the field, and they immediately went to the region, and together with our MPs and together with our organization, they coordinated the activities on the region. One of our ministers came here, and then they immediately turned back to those provinces which have been affected by the disaster. And this will be the case for this week. We will continue with our activities on the region because we have work to be done in the region, and we will complete them. Yesterday, we have made our plans in our Central Decision-Making and Administrative Committee, and with an extended delegation, our colleagues will visit the West Black Sea region and Eastern Black Sea region, but at the same time, the southern part of Turkey, we have assigned our colleagues to their relevant provinces to coordinate and observe those activities. Dear friends, in many advanced countries, including but not limited to United States of America, we have read the news of people crying out loud for help because they cannot see their state standing by them. But thanks to God, all the victims of those disasters have seen state, the ministers, the president of the state next to them. Unfortunately, we have lost more than 100 of our citizens. May God rest their souls. May their eternal place be heaven, and they rest in peace in heaven. And we have seen many heroes coming from the land forces and the gendarmeries, from the AKUT, from the AFAD, the Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency. And they didn't stall. And they jumped on to the houses with a parachute in order to save our citizens. I mean the mothers, fathers, and the children. They have been collected with those heroes and brought to safe and secure places. I mean, you cannot see such pictures in other countries. I mean, if our staff is saving those people, there's a reason behind it. You have to believe in order to not abstain from those sacrifices. And we have seen that. All those streets are being cleaned right now, and our infrastructure construction operations are going on with the highest speed. And we landed onto the peak of the mountains with the helicopters, and we provided generators to those mountainous areas with the helicopters because the electricity was cut in those regions. I mean, those generators have been provided to the peaks of the mountains, and this government, with its own resources, solved those problems, and we didn't expect any help from abroad. We never listened what the opposition parties will say, and we only listened what God will think about what we do, and that's how we acted. In order to be worthy of what our nation entrusted to us, that's how we acted, because we didn't see any barriers in front of us, because since we have those resources, it was our duty to extend our helping hand to our citizens, and thanks to God, we have fulfilled our duty. And still, by the way, without any interruption, we rushed to the region in order to help the region. Wherever there is a water cut, we provided water to the region again, and there was no place with an electricity cut. We solved all those problems. And at the same time, as we brought generators to our citizens living in the peaks of the mountains, they were so happy because they realized that their state is looking after them. Thanks to God, such kind of a nation, such kind of a state never existed. So we are not down, and we will continue to our cause and to our path. Despite certain social media platforms and members of the opposition parties sought after such an indecent slander campaign, our nation knows what we do. In all neighborhood, in all districts, all of the services that we have provided to our nation is well known. And we also would like our organization to speak about the services that we have provided to our nation in all districts and in all the neighborhoods. Providing a service is something, but entrusting that service to our nation is something different. The Red Crescent works day and night. The AFAD, Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency, worked day and night. We didn't want any one of our citizens to be deprived of their foods and clothes, and we tried to solve all of their problems immediately, because at the end of the day, it was our duty to make sure that none of our citizens be deprived of any needs, and thanks to God and thanks to them, all the needs, including but not limited to food and clothes, have been provided to our citizens. Wherever we are not speaking about our services, unfortunately, we will never forget that the slander campaign and the lies will be well rooted. That's why we are always indicating the importance of 2023. We will never leave Turkey to the hands of a mentality which is trying to make use of the opportunity when the Turkey goes down. I'm certain that none of my colleagues, none of my friends will leave Turkey to the hands of those dirty minds. So until 2023, we should work day and night. First of all, we should strengthen our unity, our brotherhood, and our solidarity. And with the energy that we receive from our brotherhood, unity, and solidarity, we should be on the fields all the time. Tomorrow, we will go to Malazgirt. We will be in the region. We have procured a broad geography and area as the state, just like Sultan Alparslan set foot from Ahlat to Malazgirt, we will also travel from Ahlat to Malazgirt. Hopefully, together with Mr. Bahçeli, we will participate in this celebration ceremonies. Hopefully, during our meetings with the public, with our nation, and with our celebration program, we will come back to our capital, and then we will continue to work in Eastern Black Sea region. We will assess what is left after the disaster, what is the situation in Artvin. We would like to observe the situation with our naked eyes, and then Salara Tunnel and İkizdere Tunnel groundbreaking ceremonies will be carried out. We will not only fight against the disasters, but at the same time we will carry out the groundbreaking ceremonies of those beautiful investments. That's how we would like to continue to our path. Then we will not stop and continue to our path. Bartın, Sinop, Kastamonu will be the provinces to which we will go and wander together with our delegations, and afterwards we will go to Antalya, Muğla, provinces, and we will visit those provinces according to our plans. There are houses which have been constructed already. Symbolically, maybe we will carry out the groundbreaking ceremonies of those houses which have been constructed, and our colleagues will carry out their duties on the field For the future of us and for our sons and daughters, this process should be completed as soon as possible. As a political party which have overcome many challenges, hopefully we will be successful in this exam as well. May God help us all. Once again, I'd like to greet you all with the love and respect. Stay healthy and safe.
Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'a hitaplarından dolayı şükranlarımızı ve saygılarımızı arz ediyoruz.